Hello, people. Um, you ever fought madness with madness? Dangerous thing to do. I'm guessing if you just keep ticking all the boxes and keeping your eye on the meridian line, you know, you should be okay. I don't know about anybody else, but I've been thinking about saints a lot these days. Strange things like I think when when Christ talks of the next world and I think of the next world, I I have this strange kind of naivety. Uh, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I have this. It's a metaphor, I guess, and it's like I don't know about anybody else, but when I was at school, we went around the bike sheds to have a fag. I mean, this is like mid-70s for me, uh, early to late 80s. And it's stuck with me, and it still sticks with me because I should have. There should be always a place like that. you know, Even if it's just to go and have a breather and just kick the wall or something. I am questioning the next world quite a lot now, especially with what I'm going through, people. So I'm just, just trying to keep me mast held high. Checking those seas and the winds that I have to keep bearing. And I can't really go into a lot of what I'm going through, but I know this much. I don't know where these bike sheds are. I don't. They're getting harder and harder to find. But that's not really the analogy I want to use for that metaphor. It's just like, I don't know, one of the other things I think is that, like, what would the internet be like? And this is where a kind of naivety comes into, or what I was on about having a kind of naivety to what is the next world really going to be like? I mean, I know, 2000 and odd years ago, the world was a different place. The way people's minds worked were different, I guess. We like to think that we know everything, the human race, but there is so much that we don't know, and so much we are unaware of. And perhaps, in there is the answer to what I'm looking for. And I have been going through some weird discoveries and experimenting with them and finding out that perhaps, our naivety especially the human race's naivety, is quite deep. But we are honest and sincere, and I guess that's where the humane bit comes from, being human, because I feel pain, and I'm humane. And I was on about earlier about faring and steering the winds of fate and chance, and what I should be doing, and how I should be doing it, if I should be doing anything really. You see, when a horse is cornered, it will bolt. And this horse it wants to bolt, but I can't. And this is their game, I'll tell you what, espionage, counter-terrorism, freedom fighter, fighting, whatever you want to call it, it's a bitch, people. I'll tell you, it's a bitch. Because you have no choice to be put in the frame of mind of your situation and how you feel other people and what other situations around you and what they're doing and how they're making you feel and how they're trying to make you volatile, winding back the cogs and wheels of volatilism and making those cogs grind and seeing what you get. And for all this, and there's the one thing I do see, and that's my common freedom. And I see a common freedom in the world. And I also want to get this in, I think the world needs to take, and I think other people are getting this, it needs to take a big chill pill. We've been through a lot. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the film Master and Commander, but I think the joke of the lesser evils is quite appropriate here. And it still applies as far as I'm concerned. It seems to me that the humanity in the rest of the world has some sort of idea of how another being feels, what it means to have a bit of joy in his life, and not to take it from him before it's even started. A free-ring circus. Sorry, I have a bit of a musical life, and I guess I use music to reflect what I'm thinking, and it's just like, God, excuse my French, Lord, Anyway, so my naivety and who I am, a human being, it's a hard one, but I have, like I said, experimented, and some of the amazing experiences I've had recently dictate that there is some sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but there is some sort of order to the universe, if you like. Some sort of underlying thing that we're not really, some sort of force, if you like. And I guess in there it's sort of like the answer to my question, and trying to understand my naivety and what the internet's going to be like in the next world, or anything like perhaps I am told that my body will be perfect. I mean, then the naivety comes into it again. You think, well, okay, I believe this, and I understand it, but what does it really mean? So I just imagine myself sitting down in a canyon somewhere with this 3-ton rock rolling towards me, and I was like asking the Lord. I was thinking, well, okay. I was looking at it thinking, look, God, right, What if 3-ton rock hits you with your perfect body? And I thought, right, okay, let's do this calculation. And it bounced off like a tennis ball. I thought, yeah, I guess, yeah, Lord, that's probably right. That's what's going to happen. And then I realised that I was toying. My naivety was still toying with the idea of what it meant to have a perfect body. And then I realised that it wouldn't matter when my eternal body, my perfect body, immortal body, when it forms, even if I was standing next to an exploding star, not a hair on my body would be damaged, not me, not nothing. And yeah, I'm finding myself thinking about these other, on a different level, out on a different, you know, I'm just trying to find, other things and understand, and try and address my humane naivety as a Christian, I guess. And as someone that trusts and believes the universe and what it's, the gateway is narrow. Yeah, I keep thinking that one, but I think, perhaps in some ways, in some of my understanding, perhaps, that we have already made it. And not what we should really be paying more attention to is just holding on and keeping together. Everything's amplified, isn't it, people? Everything's focused. Even time itself seems to be going so quick. It's like a bit, what's going on here? And just recently I've seen something about, I can't remember what it was, but it's something about blue time or something. I don't know. It's just, and I'm 58 and a half, and all my life, one of my other discovery tells me that literally I've been a time traveler, I've been a sci-fi geek, and I'm still a sci-fi geek, but I have to understand that it's not actually possible to travel through time, not physically, because I've for some reason, it's weird, when you get older, people tell you this, and it's probably, one of these cliches, but it is, when you get older, you have this higher point on the hillside, and then you keep looking down and looking down, and then sometimes you notice something, and you do, and I've noticed it's not actually possible to travel through time and space, not physically, because I remember the scientist saying that everything is a flux. I am a flux, we are a flux. Everything's growing, a stream is running, a tree is growing, a personality is living from one moment to the next. There is no solid formation there, only from one moment to the next, because everything's a flux, everything's moving. And that's just the way time is, that's the way things are. And that's it. So you can't, it's gone forever. That stream has gone forever. You cannot put your foot in that stream again. You can recreate it, you can go back to it, but that's a copy, isn't it? That's not going back to it, because it's not possible. Because the story has already happened, and the story is a continuation of one moment to the next. And it can never, ever, ever, ever be recreated. Well, it can, but it would still be a copy. I don't believe in the idea of multiverses either. Multiverse is just another idea of one of those ideas that have been brought around to in a way to make people think that basically you're unimportant, the world is unimportant, God is unimportant, because if you have a multiverse, you have a multi-God. If you have a multi-God who is a singular God, and it goes back to the same thing, isn't it? It's not possible. There is one God. Um, whatever faith you choose to follow him under, there is to me only one God. Um, Yeah, I mean, addressing the naivety thing again. I mean, I guess I am actually addressing perhaps people and all of this dread that I seem to be going through, and other people in this world seems to be going through at the moment. Is that addressing that a naivety when I can? I am realizing that I am forgetting how, not forgetting, but I am remembering in a way that you know that I guess intelligence has its own awareness and its own reflection, and I guess that's how you approach naivety, is by reflection and observation. It's like you almost have to do it with your eyes closed these days, because I can't, you know, it's just hard for me what they're doing. Oh, yeah, they're hitting me hard, very hard. People have been so nasty around me and making me so volatile. All sorts of chemicals to keep you awake 40 hours, 3 days a week. Just I'm in this, and I know a lot of other freedom fighters are in this gutter. I call it a gutter. I'd like to call it a trench. Trench 2, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, there are just a few things out there that are coming across me that my mind keeps thinking about. You know, immortality is such a great thing. To be perfect and have to live forever. It's such a great thing. Not even God can destroy it. But you can still be taught a lesson. And it seems to me, and one of the things I'm thinking about is that this lesson, this time, is going to be a final lesson. So even if you're immortal, no one and nothing's going to get away with this one. There are other types of war people that are. And I know other people have lived them out there, and I am living one myself. Freedom is a distortion of which, something or someone controls to the point where you have to see life in a different way. And obviously, the more you're made to see life in that way, the more you become adjusted to the reality of what that means. They know this, you know this. I feel like I'm talking about the Matrix or something. And in some ways, I guess it's the best way to, end this conversation, because that's, in some ways, to me, that's what I feel life is like, the geek warriors, the players, whatever it is, we're all coming out of the woodwork. We've done the math. A saint I might like to be. If that's the case, then that's the case, but I'm doing my best, like everyone else. Anyway, I hope you're all still trying to stay real. Trust me, people, it's out there. It's just got to make sense of it all, innit? Keep fighting.